Hey guys, it's Nick, also known as Fluffernuggets here, and I'm going to you today with a Paleozoic frog deck profile for the new February 5th ban list. It is a little off, it is a little bit different, I'll admit that, and I'll have a deck list in the description below. First thing this doesn't have a side deck yet, and I will talk about how there's some cards and what I want to add later on, and what I can't, what I don't have. But major problem is money issues. Can't afford to get the cards, can't really get the cards through locals because nobody has them for trade, etc. etc. Problems that everybody has. But and also when I'm done with the deck file, I want to talk about a few other cards that I've tried out online. I tested out a little bit online, and descriptions, stuff like, talk about stuff that I think would be interesting ideas that you might want to incorporate into your own versions of this deck and stuff like that. But let's hurry up and go into this profile. Set those aside actually right there. First of all, we got 3 copies of Swap Frog. For those who don't know what Swap Frog does, you normal summon it, and when it's summoned, you send a water aqua type monster from your deck to the graveyard, and you can return one face-up monster you control in order to the hand in order to summon another frog. This actually gets really good because you can normal summon this, send a ronintoadin or dupe frog, whatever, add it back to your hand with its effect, and then either do it again next turn, or you can discard any other frog you have in your hand, special summon it, or water, whatever's in there. It's a water. You discard a water to special summon it. Ugh. I am so sorry, guys. Tongue tied. Then we play 3 copies of Dupe Frog. Dupe Frog is the guy who searches out your spot frogs, your main guy. You get 2 of these on the field. It's a soft lock attack for attacks because your opponent can only target them for attacks. And when you have 2 on the field, your opponent can't really select one because it has to select the other. Makes a little soft lock Marauding Captain loop. 2 ronintoadin. No reason for 3, but 1's too little because you'll never see it. Even sitting it with Swap Frog, you'll never see it. And then finally, the card that most people don't play anymore, they used to play a lot of, but they don't play anymore, is the Walking Vanity's Emptiness for your opponent, which is a 3-berry statue. You can pretty much put on all your monsters with this. You can recycle it back with Toad. You can discard it for Swap Frog. That's why I like it so much, is because of that. And it's just really easy for you just to sit on this. You can just normal summon, set 4, pass, and it makes your opponent actually has to do work to get rid of it. Okay, now for spells. I don't play the Spellbook engine. I've tried the Spellbook engine. Also, I'm too broke to afford the Spellbook engine. I do have a 60 card build that I want to try to get up here. That has all that stuff. But anyway, first of all, 3 Potter Desires. Banish 10, draw 2, good +1. For those who think it's a -9, they're stupid. No offense, but you guys really are. 1 Raigeki, 1 Dark Hole. Board wipes, you kind of need it, especially when you're going against a True Draco and they tribute a trap and a monster. These are literally your only outs, really. 2 Galaxy Cyclones just to get cards off board, because right now spell trap cards like Scapegoats, Light Stage, Draconic Diagram. Well, no longer Spiral Resort was one of those problems, but now it's set to 1. We don't have to really worry about that, but you guys get the picture. A lot of these field spells that need it. Also, it's really good against Invoke. You activate this and change the invocation, banish the invocation, they can't start cycling back. 3 copies of Dinomischus. If I was playing Demise like some people do, I would not be playing this at all. Maybe 1 copy of this, because it gets really awkward because your Demise makes you discard your hand, so you don't have any to discard. But this is actually really good because, especially the Pot Desires, say you go first, one of your 5 cards, you draw 1 back, and you get 6 cards, so you pretty much always have at least 1 in hand after your Desires. But that's actually really good. Paleozoic olenoides. This is MST, really. This hit whatever back row you need. Only 2 Canadian. The reason I cut this one down to 2 is because it flips a monster face down, and with links going around, you can't really do that against the link monster, so I figured this one's not as useful as it used to be, or I would still be playing it along with my Floodgate Trap Holes, which is actually one of the cards I was going to bring up later. Maybe, I'm not sure about that one yet, but anyway. Then 2 Marrella, which is sends your other things, all your traps to your graveyard, whatever you need. It's really good in the mirror match, really. You activate this, send one of your paleo trap cards, sets you up because now your opponent has to let you activate stuff. Pretty much, and all that other good junk. And then one leanchoilia. It targets one of your banished cards, and adds it back to your graveyard. So if you activate desires and you accept banish both ronintoadins or something, you can activate this, return your ronintoadin back to your grave, so you can start using its effect in order to search and special summoning and start all your generic combos and stuff like that. Your combo wombos. Two other Paleozoic Lost Winds. The reason I call this Paleozoic Lost Winds because this literally made the deck when it first came out. Like, this took the entire deck to a whole new level as soon as this card was made. You can send this with, a lot of times I'll send Lost Wind with Marrella here to the graveyard to get it set up. Because when your opponent special summons a monster from the X deck, you can set this to the field, and then you can activate this, target one special summon monster in the field, and negate effects, its attack becomes half. I thought about amping this up to 3, but I'm already running 50 cards as is, which is why this deck is a little iffy, a little strange. But to go with our consisting of 3 copies of Pod Desires, we got 3 Reckless Greed, obvious, chain your Paleos to it, you get draws, and you +1, all that good stuff. This is one I've been testing out, 2 back to the front. I've been back and forth between back to the front and Exceed Reborn, because now when you say you summon Toad first turn, you send it, you can activate this, special summon it back to the field, but in the main monster zone, not an extra monster zone, which is really good. But the reason I sided with this one is because this way, if I need to, I can bring back like a frog, or I can bring back the barrier statue. Actually, a lot of times in my testing online today, they would go to special summon something. I back to the front summon the water barrier statue, and they can't do anything really because now they lost it. They can't special summon anymore because of the water barrier statue saying only wind. Then we got the Solemn, the updated Solemn Brigade. I was, for the longest time, I really didn't want to play these in here because I didn't want to play these in here because you can't chain your Paleos to these, but I figured even without your Paleos chaining to it, you still get so much advantage off these cards nowadays, because you stop Candina from searching, you stop a sleeper from being summoned, you stop all these things happening, and now we even get an extra negate from the Solemn Judgement. And Judgment's like an always live card, which is the reason it was so banned for a while, is because it stops so much and it's always live as long as you have life points to pay. And a lot of decks don't mind losing those life points nowadays because, like, who cares? But I feel like this card has also gone a little bit down because what's it called? Bling Burn or Trickstar. See, so this guy is like kind of iffy. It's like a high risk, high reward. But then we play triple waboku because, you know, I don't like damage and I like to protect my monsters, and this is actually really good because you can activate this on your own turn if you need to be. So I want to paleo back and start making plays and start stunning the opponent. 2 storming. In my previous builds, I've had say 2 storming and 2 quaking, and I dropped the quakings altogether. The other mirror forces, this is the only mirror force that I play because it's the most alive right now, because it's non-destruction, non-target, it affects link monsters. See, I made this deck more to counter the link span decks, and kind of because when they start making their plays and stuff, you can't use Quaking Mirror Force to stop their link monsters because it can't go face down. So Storm Mirror Force sends everything back. It's a non-target, non-destruction, so it gets around Spiral Sleeper, stuff like that. Then, finally, we have 3 copies of Mistake and 1 Imperial Order. Mistakes pretty much stop almost everything in the game. It's a draw and lockbird for both players, which is a reason I didn't want to play the spellbook engine with this, because if you activate this too early in the game and then you draw your spellbook guy and then you can't really do your searching for your other stuff because this is on board, you kind of have to wait till you draw into it, etc. And then Imperial Order, just negates your all spells. So if you need to stop things. Okay. Now on to the extra deck. The extra deck is missing a few cards. I will explain why my choices are with this and also go into a few other things. First of all, so we gotta play 3 Mistar Boys. I want to take one of these out for a Decode Talker, but I just can't find another Decode Talker. I have one in my Lightsworn deck. By the way, if you guys want to see that, like and subscribe, and as soon as I get at least 50 likes on this video, I'll start doing my Lightsworn deck profile. And that one is actually more viable than this deck, in my opinion. And etc. But next we have one Proxy Dragon. I'm not gonna lie, Proxy Dragon was literally just in here because I had trouble. I forget what the actual situation was, but he got a monster on my field, and I literally just could not get rid of it for the life of me because I could not link summon with it. I couldn't Z summon. It was just taking up space on my board, and I just could not handle it. So I just threw this in there because I had the extra room and extra space, and do this. Just send it. Also, this is actually a really good Winter Cherries target. I'm not going to go over my side deck because side deck's really a personal preference, but it's actually a really good Winter Cherries target because a lot of decks play this and Decode Talker. So, and they generally have to go through this in order to link up everything else. Like, Destrudo targets will sometimes go in Proxy Dragon first to handle stuff and then go into another link summon off of Proxy Dragon into Decode or something similar. Like, they'll go into this first, so if you know they're going to go into this, you can Winter Cherries, reveal this, they banish it. And that's also another thing about this deck. You can literally thin out the deck for cards you don't really care for and throw in cards that you think are going to be popular, and then throw in Winter Cherries, so you can just Winter Cherry spam. Then we have the 3 Totally Awesome, which you have to play in this deck. Literally, this is your ace monsters, your go-to guy. Negates everything, sets them to your side field. Obvious. Then we're playing 2 copies of Paleozoic olenoides. This is your Rhoda. You detach one from this, then if it has a trap card as material, you can detach one, add a Paleozoic trap card, and also to play your Paleo trap cards from your hand, so you don't have to worry about your cards being twin twisted or etc. And these guys, all your Paleozoics have the same effect if they're unaffected by monster effects, so you don't need to worry about your Spiral Sleeper, which is why this deck actually had a pretty good win condition against Spirals until they got the Resort down, but that Resort's out of the way. The one of this guy, I really don't like him. I feel like he's a little issue. Like, you have to play him because of he is a popping card, but sort of I feel like he requires too much to actually make do with because you have to use 3 or more level 2 monsters. It's not impossible to bust that out, but and it's not really that hard. It's just he lets you excavate one and add it to your hand, and then or detach one and pop a card during the player's turn. Yeah, the pop card's good, but it's just sort of he's not really worth 3 materials in my opinion. But I do go into him. And then 1 Cat Shark, 1 Fantasy Knights of Cursed Javelin, and the one card that I am ish on, Gachi. I've tried out Gachi mainly just I want to power up the Totally Awesome as much as possible so I can't beat him over. But then also going to my head is like, I won't necessarily be able to get a Totally Awesome, Starboy, and Gachi in one turn. So it's kind of like, I want to drop him, but I also have enough room to add like 2 more cards, so I might throw in the daigusto pheonix and the Sky Cavalry first, but right now he's just in there for that reason. But that's my entire extra deck. I mean, the ones I actually only go into is Mistar Boy, Proxy on occasion, and Totally Awesome, and maybe an Opabinia. Those are the only ones I actually really go into. It's the only ones that really matter. But yeah. But now there's some cards I want to talk about that could be possibly thrown into a Paleozoic deck that are not really common ideas, but also like nice little text that could work. And the first one is the Trap Tricks engine, or Trap Tricks Marrella, and the Trap Holes. Because now that we have a bottomless trap hole at 3, we can plus off the Paleozoic in the grave when bottomless trap hole is activated. Plus we handle big monsters that we just can't normally deal with. Gradle Slime Jr. is it's a floater that special summons another one, so you can special summon this, do all that other stuff, etc., etc. Do stuff like that. It's mainly there just as a floater to summon, because this gets destroyed, you special summon another one, and it kind of keeps your opponent busy for a little bit. Then we have a kaijus. Most people only play gam seals in this, but I feel like when I was doing my testing on this, when I did play kaijus in it, I did 2 gam seals, 1 kamungus. Mainly kamungus just to handle monsters, etc. But Slumber is also an extra board wipe that in the deck that can handle things like that, etc. Soul Charge, we can fill up our graveyard pretty relatively fast once we get Totally Awesome on board. So we can probably Soul Charge everything back. I mean, we can Link Summon, do all our plays, then Soul Charge this, set up for play, get even more monsters out, and make sure that our opponent can't really do anything. Compulse. The only reason I didn't play Compulse in the main deck or in the deck at all is because it really doesn't help. It really doesn't do anything because it just puts the resource back into the opponent's hand just for them to play it again, which is a little bit of an extra resource. But generally, when they're doing that, they're not really losing a resource per se. Say, Spirals. You activate this when they summon their Sleeper. They're just going to bench another 2 cards to summon Sleeper again, and they're not really worried about it because they have enough resources to keep control of the game. So, yeah. Then Anti-Spell Fragrance. I didn't play Anti-Spell Fragrance because I felt like I was playing already too many continuous spell and trap cards and cards I just couldn't get rid of at the time. Plus, this can kind of get in the way. It's like if I draw into a Pot of Desires while this is up, I have to set the Desires, wait a turn, and do that again, etc. stuff. I would heavily consider citing this though, so at 3 because this is a Pendulum Magician Killer, and no other way around that. And like I said, and then also Floodgate Trap Holes. These are literally just here for pendulums, in my opinion. Like, as dominant as Pendulum Magicians are, when they go to Pendulum Summon, and you just Floodgate turn all face down, they really pretty much just lose, and they can't do anything else for the rest of the turn. And you kind of just have to make them sit there and do things like that. But anyway, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe, and as soon as I get 50 likes on this one, I will do a Lightsworn deck profile, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that one too, because it is probably my favorite deck, and I just figured the Paleozoic Trap one is going to be more favorable because it's just one of the more liked decks of the format right now. But anyway, talk to you guys later. See you guys.